A phone call from the Prime Minister's office, an urgent invitation to 7 RCR, and a conversation that, according to former Chief Election Commissioner S.Y. Qureshi, revealed a side of Dr. Manmohan Singh that the public rarely saw. In his upcoming book, India and I, 100 Memories, Not a Memoir, Mr. Qureshi recounts a remarkable episode from 2012 Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections. Following a political storm over an alleged MCC violation and criticism directed at the Election Commission, Mr. Qureshi says an emotional Manmohan Singh personally reached out, insisting he had never intended for the institution's credibility to be questioned. In fact, the former Chief Election Commissioner of India, Mr. S.Y. Qureshi, is joining us live on the broadcast. Let's go directly to him. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. I first want to understand in detail from you, what is it that you told Mr. Khare, which was later passed on to the then Prime Minister, that alarmed him so much that he told you that if what you said is right, he will commit suicide?
Well, what happened was we conducted UP election in 2012, and in the course of election, the then Law Minister Salman Khurshid, a gentleman though he is, but in the heat of the moment in his campaign for his wife, he made an announcement which was violation of the Model Code. He said that they will increase the quota of minorities if they win the election. BJP immediately complained, and we gave a notice to the other party, and we sat in the court and heard both the parties for 4 consecutive days. They were both defended by 10 lawyers on each side. And we came to the conclusion that it was indeed a violation of the Model Code, and we censured him. And after that, censure is the ultimate punishment under the Model Code, and there is no appeal even in the Supreme Court. So now imagine the Law Minister of the land stands convicted and censured, and at the end of the Election Commission. So some ministers of the Congress Party and 3-4 other leaders were indulging in loose talk, critical of not just me personally, but of the Election Commission, that we are very arrogant and all kind of negative things. So when I met Harish Khare socially, I mentioned to him that these kind of loose remarks which we are hearing about are not acceptable. And if I just mention it to the media, you'll run for cover. Let me warn you. So he said, should I inform the Prime Minister? I said, it is exactly for the information of the Prime Minister, so that he knows what his ministers are up to. The next day, I got a call from Dr. Manmohan Singh directly, and he was very, very tense and almost nervous. And he said, Mr. Qureshi, I want to meet you urgently, as if he wanted to come and meet me. I said, sir, you are the Prime Minister. Please tell me wherever you say, whatever time, I'll come. So that day, 7 o'clock in his house, it was fixed. When I reached there, he was waiting at the door. And then he escorted me in. And as soon as we sat down, he said, Mr. Qureshi, Harish told me in your conversation of yesterday, if this is what you think, I'll commit suicide. This is what you think means that I'm critical. He was not. It was only his ministers who were indulging in loose talk. So I was not prepared for this. I was completely taken aback, and took me 30 seconds to recover from the shock, and then 15, 20 minutes to calm him also. And I said, sir, we admire you. You are, and he actually, to tell you the fact, he was a total admirer of the Election Commission in India, the election process. And he used to say, and repeatedly I've heard it from him, that the biggest thing, the best thing about India, well known because of which India has a great reputation worldwide, is its democracy and its elections. And we are very proud of you. So in such a man, to be told that his colleagues are indulging in loose talk was not acceptable. So that's why he became so upset.
Okay.
And then I said, sir, it was meant for them. And if you just warn them, he said, I was not aware. I'll warn them. And next time any complaint, just pick up the phone. So that shows his sensitivity. He was extremely sensitive and extremely proud of this institution.
Now, your description of that particular episode in your book has generated a lot of reactions and a lot of curiosity as well. And there are reactions coming in from the BJP, where Mr. Naqvi of the BJP has called it a joke. He says, we don't know whether Dr. Manmohan Singh actually said that or not. How do you respond to that? There's one other reaction that has come in which says the fact that the Prime Minister back then felt that the election commissioner was critical and he called him shows how the election commission was functioning under the UPA. How do you respond to that criticism?
Who said this?
A reaction that has come in from one Mr. Naqvi, who says we don't know if Dr. Manmohan Singh actually said that, if this is a lie or if this actually happened. How do you respond to that criticism first?
I think this is the most stupid comment I have ever heard. What the hell does he mean? Am I lying? What does he know? More than that, I don't want to say. It's absolute rubbish he's talking. Am I lying? I will be lying in a book, a printed book, and I have mentioned the people. I have mentioned it to the Principal Secretary to PM, National Security Advisor, Harish Khare, everybody. They all knew about it. What was the other point he
Mr.
made?
Qureshi, there are parallels that are being...
What was his other point? It must be equally silly. Tell me, what was the other point he made?
No, the other point was not made by him. There's one other reaction that has come in, and that is from Mr. Nalin Kohli of the BJP, who says that, one has not read the book, but what has come out in media raises serious questions on functioning of UPA government at that time, what was stated position of Dr. Manmohan Singh, and what was opposed to position of serious Congress minister. So he's basically talking about the manner in which the government functioned back then. And then he also goes on to say S.Y. Qureshi was CEC then. If he's writing something, then it's up to the Congress party to come clean on this issue. So he's raising questions about how the UPA functioned back then.
Well, it is his opinion. Let him say what he says. But I've recorded only the facts. And let those leaders come out and give their explanation. I've not named them. But the fact is that the casting aspersion on the Election Commission was unheard of those days. We had the highest reputation and credibility amongst all parties. And we were accessible to everybody, but more accessible to the opposition parties. It was my policy that we have to, because they are the underdog, they are powerless. Government has long hand, can get 100 things done. But it is the opposition whose trust we require. And that's why I had given instructions to all my staff that they give top priority to the opposition. If they need appointment tomorrow, give them today and keep the doors open for them, because we need that trust and credibility in the system, in the electoral system. That is what is important, which is why so far in the country is losing even by one vote. The candidates have gone home gracefully. They have never raised a question mark about the electoral process or about the election commission.
So what is your commentary? So what is your commentary on the current state of affairs? Now, what we witness is that when the opposition wins, there's absolute silence on the functioning of the election commission or even the EVMs. But the moment you see the opposition party losing election, then, all hell breaks loose. The opposition goes all guns blazing, saying that this particular election commission is in cahoots or hand in gloves with the current establishment. How do you look at the current state of affairs?
Well, I would hesitate to comment on the current incumbent, because it's a little awkward for me because to be commenting on the successors. But whether they have maintained the image of the organization as it used to be for 70 years, it is for all of you to see. You will have a better idea.
Now, you spoke about this interaction, and in that particular interaction, you also told us about how Dr. Manmohan Singh, the late Prime Minister, saw the Election Commission and thought about the Election Commission and stood by the integrity of the Election Commission. As far as the current establishment is concerned, the current establishment also talks about a fair and transparent system. As per them, the Election Commission is following the rule book. Then why is it that there is a narrative doing the rounds that it's hand in gloves with the government?
Yeah, that's a good question. But as I mentioned to you, what is important is how the opposition views the Election Commission. If the government is very happy, we used to keep an arm's length from the government. If the government is and the Election Commission are cozy with each other, that actually raises questions. It is mandated in the Constitution for us to maintain a distance, which is why once appointed, the government cannot touch you. They cannot ask you any questions. They cannot remove you. So all these are constitutional provisions basically to keep it protected from executive interference. And on the other hand, the opposition has no power on you. It all depends on how you treat them. We treated them with great respect, with an open door. They trusted. And by the way, in my time, in my all my 6 years, the leading opposition was the BJP. And their leader, Mr. Arun Jaitley, was who used to be very critical of me because of my proximity to Sushma Swaraj earlier. When he saw me in action, he had very good words to use for me in writing. In fact, for one of my books, he gave a commendation. So I say the current leaders who were of the BJP also indulge in loose talk. They should read what their top leader had to say about the election commission and the incumbent then.
And before I let you go, sir, before I let you go, you've also spoken of there being a minority quota at the PMO due to which you refused a posting there. And while describing that, you arrive at a conclusion that you were offered the job because you were a Muslim. Now, once again, there are a lot of reactions that will come in on this because the BJP constantly takes this jibe at the UPA saying that appeasement politics is something that has been practiced for a long time, that Muslims is equal to Congress. That has been the ideology. Your comment, your take.
No, that will be a very nonsensical comment, let me tell you. Because if Prime Minister's office needed one Muslim, it was only because they needed a Muslim perspective for various things. This government may not need them, but the government, actually it is needed. And even this government has had Muslim officers in the PMO. So what happened was that I was appointed, and I got to know from a third person that I've been appointed and I have to be joining tomorrow. And I wasn't keen at all because I had thought to myself that three ministries or departments I will avoid: Defense, Home, and PMO. Because as a Muslim, if I'm viewed separately now and subjected to extra scrutiny, that was not acceptable to me. If you take me as a blue-blooded IS officer, I'm happy to do any job. But if you pick me because you need a Muslim there, that is what I objected to, and I turned it down, and that is what I have documented in the book. Again, let Mr. Naqvi say that this is a truth or lie. He probably knows the truth more than I do.
Okay, so your response to the critics is that comments that are coming in your way or the criticism coming in your way is nonsensical. Thank you very much, Mr. Qureshi, for speaking with us. Thank you for giving us your time. So that was former Chief Election Commissioner talking about his book and that particular incident, that episode, his interaction with the then Prime Minister when he said, I will commit suicide if what you're saying is true. That was about the criticism of the violation of the MCC back then and about a particular leader. Quick break with that. We have a lot more lined up on the other side.